Last time I saw I was live. And now I know y'all there. Yeah. FlyNubianQueen.com. Fly Professor Aaron Smith. And I'm reporting live from the back blocks, well, not really, Philadelphia, Temple University. And tonight culture is on a rise, and we have to discuss how to move a little better, because we out here bashing Beyonce and trusting Oprah. What did somebody say? Trusted? Oh no! Right before you even get it out, I want to watch Oprah. Oh no! See the way she was slithering all over Harvey Weinstein in them pictures, man. And then I said, she watched the Neverland documentary on a birthday on David Geffen's boat. Then it turns out that she's about to do a streaming special with Steven Spielberg. And I said, wow, that's interesting. I wonder who Steven Spielberg's partner is. David Geffen. Oh my gosh, what a coincidence. What a coinky dink. How it all just comes together. Connect the dots. Let's play Connect the Dots. My goodness. So you was watching the documentary on the boy's boat when he didn't ask one question to interrogate the story that had already been proven. Oh my God. And then just a couple weeks later, you come out with the whole Apple situation talking about, I'm in this too. You told Harpo to beat me. You told Steven to stream me. And now you got your own streaming situation with Apple and Steven Spielberg and David Geffen. It reminds me of the mafia movies where, you know, the hit goes out on The Godfather. They don't know who did it, but then they can tell who did it by who becomes the next Godfather, right? That's how it works, right? Everybody's competing for that seat to be the made man. And then mysteriously, somebody attacks the existing Godfather, and the next thing you know, the new Godfather just pops up out of the 5 people that wanted to be Godfather. So when I saw Oprah come out there after the hit had been done, let me get started the right way. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure you listen live or just log on. It's Aaron Smith. If you want to get your business right, FlyNubianBusiness.com. You want to get your money right, FlyNubianMoney.com. Get your shopping popping, ShopFNQ.com. You know how we do. It's on Queens. Text Queens to 31996 to make sure you stay in that mix. I don't mean to sound like an auctioneer, but I'm doing this thing right here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Tell somebody, tell a friend, tell 10, don't meet me there. Let's get it on. Trusting these agents while bashing these activists. We'll bring that to mind. Last night, we were talking about this situation about Beyonce, allegedly, because now Reebok is saying she ain't never walk out of no meeting with us because there wasn't enough black people. Whoa. The articles like the one I'm about to read now, we talked about this subject yesterday. Jay-Z and Beyonce donated bail to Baltimore and Ferguson protesters. Jay-Z and Beyonce bankroll protesters in Baltimore and Ferguson with tens of thousands of dollars in bail money. A writer and social media activist close to them claimed, I can say I've personally helped. And it's something. You know it's something. When people say, how do you know? And you say, well, I personally. Or you say, oh, you was there. Oh, that's a different story. That's a different story. We talked about the agent. I might get it up. I won't put it up there. Darthard Perry. I'm just gonna give you all the references, and you can just Google Darthard Perry. Darthard Perry was the FBI agent, the informant that helped to burn down the Watts Writers Workshop. And Gil Nobles was interviewing Darthard Perry about his participation in the arson at the Watts Writers Workshop, and then Gil Noble was like, how do you know that it was arson that burned down the Watts Writers Workshop? And Darthard Perry looked at Gil Noble and said, because I did the arson. And then Gil Noble was like, you choked up. You did the arson. He said, yup. He said, and it hurt him because he helped build that stage. So he was there giving out money, helping people, helped build the stage while he was working for the FBI, and then burned down the very structure. I mean, when you talk about calculated and strategic, thinking 5 moves ahead, he said, you can't make it look sophisticated. You got to get a flare gun and a gas canister so they think some disgruntled person, somebody was with somebody's girlfriend or something, they just came and burned the whole place down. He said, if you do it too professional, if you do it too clean, then they'll know that, it was a professional job. And I was like, man, do my people know that our enemies are thinking like this? They thinking 5 steps ahead. They thinking, I'll get the streaming service with Steven Spielberg and David Geffen, and I'll be the bedwencher of the year. And we're not thinking 3 steps ahead. We just like, ooh, that was a graphic description in that mockumentary. No, this chess. Because somebody will move their bishop in the line of fire to take your queen. Like they'll put 3-5 moves ahead. They'll be like, you look ahead and be like, okay, well, I'm going to trick him and make him move here. But if you only think 1 or 2 moves ahead, he wants you to do that. He wants you to trick him. Then he wants to make a move. Then he wants you to make a move on his move. Then he's going to say checkmate. Because some people fighting battles, some people fighting wars. Oprah out here fighting wars. That was her initiation. She was trying to, make sure that she was in the upper echelon, upper echelon of the upper room. FlyNubianQueen.com. Make sure you listen live or just log on FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure that you are texting Queens to 31996. Make sure that you are in the mix. Like, subscribe, share. So Beyonce says you just might be a black Bill Gates in the making. That's what we're leaving off on before. These coding jobs are reportedly giving out $300 an hour. $300 an hour. This should be mandatory learning in all public schools at this point. Even if it ever gets to $30 an hour, it's still more than half of the people that, hey. Some people are like, man, it could be 30. I still quit and do that. Coding. Computer coding, $300 an hour. So I don't know what the young people around you are studying, but add that to the curriculum. So when Beyonce talking about loving her Negro nose and Jackson 5 Afro and telling these young black people they might be black Bill Gates in the making. Now the pessimists, the ignorant among us, they say, well, she also got songs about being bootylicious and handling the jelly. And you tell them that Noah was a drunk and Moses was a murderer and that Thomas Jefferson was a pedophile and that George Washington was a slave owner and had over 300 people. Can you be a good person and own people at the same time? See, other people don't got these hangups. That's why there's only one group of people that will allow their billionaires to be incarcerated. Shouts out to Bill Cosby. I'm going to say it again, though. I've said it before. There's some stock footage. Maybe I can find it. Maybe I'll find it while I'm talking. There's a man named John Gotti, and he's a mafia man, allegedly, right? According to Growing Up Gotti. And then this guy named Sammy the Bull Gravano. And Sammy the Bull turned on John Gotti. Sammy the Bull was John Gotti's man's in them, as DMX would say. That's my man's in them. And he was cool. At some point, him and Sammy the Bull decided to protect his own hide. And in doing so, Sammy the Bull, turned states on John Gotti. I'm gonna get a quote for you. Sammy the Bull, because Sammy the Bull was letting it all out. I'll just put murders. And see what comes up. I just put murders. I put Sammy the Bull and murders. New York mob hitman Sammy the Bull. Oh, that's when he was released. Turned murder into a hobby. Wow, Sammy the Bull Gravano turned murder into a hobby. Top mafia hitman. So he turned on. He turned on John Gotti and was talking about all the murders that John Gotti had him do, and was even trying to allude or allege that John Gotti was there for some of these murders. I'm gonna give you the title. If y'all watch the YouTube video of John Gotti, suspected murderer, going into court in his neighborhood, I'm telling you, these Italian people had signs. Like, it looked like he was in the Super Bowl. I'm put John Gotti supporters. That's all I'm probably gonna have to type. John Gotti supporters. I don't even think he was a billionaire, but they was like, man, you ain't gonna do nothing. He got life sentence too. They call him the Teflon Don at one point. John Travolta played him in the movie and everything, right? But they used to be out there with big old signs. I don't know if people are really being consistent. I'll give you a good comparative analysis. There's a man named Joe Biden. People was talking to me saying we need to be strategic because we got to beat Trump. I said, you wasn't saying that when Bill Cosby was in. You wasn't saying we need that billion and we need Bill's billions, right? You was like, under the jail. You was giving them the black man treatment. But now that the white man, you said, oh no, we got to be pragmatic. We got to be strategic. I said, oh Lord, these house Negroes is getting crazy out here. I don't want nobody smelling my scalp, grab me by the nothing, or dropping nothing in my drink. Now, it can be consistent. Keep that same energy, as we like to say in the hood. So you got Beyonce out here bailing people out. I mean, I'm not going to name no names. That's just not what I do. But you do have people on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all these different outlets, black people, You couldn't get them to bail out a person who was proven innocent on DNA evidence if the NRA or the Police Athletic League, whoever it is, the police union was against them. There's black people that would not get in the fray of none of that. They don't play them police brutality games at all. And they claim that they civil rights activists. Civil rights activists. Right? Social justice warriors. What kind of warriors you when I need to get bailed out and you don't got a dime? You done spent it all on signs and megaphones and milk to get the pepper spray out your nose and your eyes. So we really need to be more pragmatic with regards to who is of benefit to our community. And if some people argue they're not conscious enough, then we need to really make it a real point to say the reason they're not conscious enough is because we're not doing our job. If their job is to make the money and our job is to direct those resources toward conscious endeavors, then they could be the Malcolm Littles and we will be the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's. Like, we just need to take them. They say like the youth are the gas and the elders are the steering and the brakes. We do the direction. We do the guidance, right? We the GPS out this joint, right? We the GPS out this joint, right? So no. Beyonce is doing everything that she needs to do. If y'all ever saw when she was singing Ring the Alarm and she fell down them steps, she got up like, hey, she missed a beat. I think she fell down and got up on beat. I ain't never seen that. I ain't never seen nobody roll down those steps on beat and then pop up and didn't miss a lyric. Come on, ring the alarm. I've been falling too long. I said, oh, she done read the lyrics. So Beyonce got her part covered. I ain't never seen nobody fall down those steps and keep the lyrics going. You at least gonna throw an ouch in the lyrics, you know. Ring me an ouch, and I've been doing this too long. Now you're gonna have to at least you're gonna have to let on to some extent that you just fell down a full flight of stairs. Now Beyonce got her part covered. I was about to ring the alarm when I saw that video of 911 alarm. Please make some ice. And said that she just kept on dancing. She kept on dancing. So keep on dancing. She had her part covered. We are the ones who sit up in the room with a bunch of books, you know, while she up in the studio all night. So we got to make sure that we can converge. That's the intersectionality we need. We need to have an intersectionality type relationship between the consciousness and the resources. Because if there is a level of consciousness where people are willing to put their money where their mouth is and bail people out, the only thing they knew was that somebody had been killed unjustly or beaten unjustly. That's there, and they had no additional background than we had. Most of these people probably hadn't even secured any type of counsel yet, or they probably would have got bailed out. If you can afford a lawyer, you get bail first. You know, if it's between bail and your lawyer, I can go walk into some lawyers' offices after I get my bail up. I ain't gonna call a lawyer, he give me a bad price, but that's my one phone call. Now I'm going, no. These people had just got there. So they didn't even care if they was guilty or not, according to the law, because they knew that they was working against an unjust law. And even from Dr. King to the religious text to the Constitution itself talks about you don't have any obligation to adhere to unjust, unconstitutional laws. If you don't have the right to peaceably assemble without getting hit with tear gas, you don't have no business. Dr. King said there's some things you should be maladjusted to, right? So Beyonce and Jay-Z knew enough about that they could make moves according to just the realities of people expressing their full humanity and having righteous indignation, or even a well-regulated militia under police tyranny. If somebody out here killing people, then you do what you got to do. It's your obligation. It's not your right. I always say my ancestral mandate. It's your obligation to pick up a rock when you got people choking Eric Gardner out in front of a group of 20 people on a busy street. You got an obligation to do something. You don't let somebody's outfit let you murder people. You telling me I put on an outfit and you gonna let me come into your community and murder the citizens of your community? I bet no matter what, I could wear a dashiki, I could wear a darn spacesuit. If I walked into Chinatown right now, put my arm around somebody's throat, and I started choking the life out of them, somebody is going to assault me and stop me. Trust and believe. I am fully faithful in that. If I went to the Hasidic Jewish community with a badge and everything else and wrapped my black arm around somebody's neck and said, everybody back up, let me just watch me kill him. And he was like, I can't breathe, with his curls twirling and his hat, his big old hat, black hat tipping. And I just kept choking and choking. Somebody would be like, man, rush him. Get him off our boy. We're not going to watch you kill members of our community. We law abiding, but we not insane and inhumane. We ain't crazy. It ain't sweet like that. Only one community on the planet Earth is going to allow you, is going to watch somebody that they know for a fact didn't instigate. They was watching it, narrating it, talking about he was breaking up the fight. You telling me I'm breaking up a fight and I end up getting choked to death and nobody even throws a bottle? Can you throw a bottle at the ground just to divert the attention so I can get a little gulp in there? Can I get a gulp? Let me get a gulp. The gulp might give me 30 more seconds. The gulp might give me the inclination to just play dead, come on, man. You should at least been breaking glass or something. You could have went around the back and just threw rocks over them. Come on, man. Come on, man. You ain't want to do the right thing. You should have picked up the garbage can. Radio, right? You're going to sit there and just tape it. You're just going to watch a murder and tape a murder and stand by talking about y'all wrong for this. Y'all wrong for this. Meanwhile, you got people that are playing their part as financiers of a rebellion, uprising, revolution, and they bailing them back out because the last thing they want the people to get back out. They like to get the money, but they don't want you right back out on the streets. Not before things even get a chance to die down. In the case of Baltimore and Ferguson, those were, those long-term uprisings. So even as a strategy, to have these alpha males and females who don't mind standing up on the hood of a car and putting a cone through that glass, to have them right back on the streets the next day. If you're trying to maintain something, if you're trying to oppress people, you're trying to make examples, the last thing you want to see. It's like playing that game dodgeball where you're the last one in the game. And if you catch it, then you can bring somebody back in, right? But if you don't catch the ball, then can't nobody come back in. And they're like, bro, you're going to take a chance. You're going to catch a ball and get somebody back in, or it's just going to be you just dodging balls all night, right? But ain't nothing more empowering than when you do that kind of catch that brings everybody back in. You ever had a dodgeball game where you be like, everybody back in when you catch the ball? And like, that's how it is on the street. If somebody on the street that you know was fighting for justice, and then you see them back on the street, you say, oh, we invincible out here. I watch my man just get put in cuffs. And by the end of tonight, he back out on these streets, right? Shouts out to Beyonce right here, right? Holla, Jay, right? It's the rap, right? We back, right? We back in the building. We back on the map, right? Ain't nothing better than seeing your boy come home. So you can imagine the morale of seeing 10 people get locked up and the next day they back on the streets. That's a big morale booster. That's a major morale. See, that's not what the enemy wants. The enemy wants you to be like the buck breaking process back in the enslavement period, where they would take one of the, the African-American men that was rebellious, and they would have him be, either castrated or drawn and quartered with the different horses, have his limbs pulled off his body, or they'd have him raped in front of the village to instill fear in the people for generations. They want you to have a broken spirit. They don't want you to see, oh, my boy got right back out. And then he'd be like, yo, word to mother, man, I swear it said Beyonce on my bell slip. Nah, I'm just playing. She had somebody else do that. Now that'd be crazy, though. That'd free me. No, so FlyNubianQueen.com. FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure you listen live or you log on. Text Queens. Just text it. Just text it. Text Queens to 31996. Make sure you're in the mix. Subscribe, like, share. Yeah, do that there. Now we got to talk about these people that really care. And some people have made a whole industry in acting like they care. Acting black, I should say, right? There's some people who their whole thing is feminism, but they mask it in this pseudo Afrocentric thing. Meanwhile, they're using Hotep as a pejorative, even though it's the way their ancestors talked about peace and harmony and reciprocity. When you manipulate the language of your own ancestors, you dislocate it. As the great Dr. Molefi Kete Asante says, you off your cultural center. Because you would never find a Jewish person saying, look at those shaloms. They would never insult their heritage and their culture and their ancestors that way. So you know you're dealing with a fool and a punk and a coward and an anti-black so-called activist when they say something like Hotep as a pejorative. Tell them I said it. Hotep that's a curse word now. It's bad to be more African, but you quick to say howdy, pardon me, hi everybody, because your real agenda is LGBTQIA. Your real agenda is Marxism. Your real agenda is feminism, but we was popping when y'all wasn't. You counted us out because we was getting assassinated and politically imprisoned. So you said, ain't nothing to all that pro-black stuff. We're going to run with these jerry curls and be buppies, take off these bell bottoms and put on these blazers and these pink t-shirts looking like Miami Vice. And we're just going to try to make all the money we can. We're going to stop being Black Panthers and get PhDs. And we're going to try to get pensions, hang around white folks. And then all of a sudden, the 90s came, Public Enemy and Tupac and X-Clan and Brand Nubians and Poor Righteous Teachers and Queen Latifah, and everybody started to have African medallions and black college sweatshirts was the outfit of choice. And it was like, oh shoot, all this time I was working for the FBI and running from being black, these black people done took off and got their ears and their hearts of the youth. on their side. Sister Soldier talking about we are at war, right? And all the Jerry curls in the world couldn't get one youth to follow you. You had these fools burying a word. These ignorant fools, I don't care what group they in. They was walking down the street with a stupid behind coffin, burying a word, while we had people who was getting falsely accused of rape, and the other brother was wrapped up in the gym mat when he had to exhume his body and found newspaper in it. At the same time, young black men was dealing with those realities. These misguided elders, some of them still had perms, was walking down the darn street with a coffin, talking about we burying the N-word, because that's the real problem in the community. Arguably the biggest misstep in the history of our people was that darn day. And that's the day when the youth was like, we're not rocking with y'all old dusty dummies ever again. You do not lead us. You do not represent us. You do not know what we're ailing from, what our pain is. If you watch Boys in the Hood, you know where police brutality ranked and where the N-word ranked. It wasn't on nobody's list. Wasn't nobody who was getting beat up and shot down by the cops and stopped and frisked talking about, you know what needs to stop though? This N-word. What? Where were you growing up? Where were you? Where were you, period? Where were you, period? When even R. Kelly in the I Wish remix was like, I hope the radio, please don't take the N-word out this song. He reminiscing on somebody that died in his life, and the radio gonna cut it off, but they gonna let Queen Latifah say, who you calling to be? Because they said she used it in a way that what? So some people have the right to curse and reappropriate words and use it and as an empowering tool, even though they're historically negative. But other people try to do the same thing, and you decide, no, you didn't peep that, huh? UNITY, who you call it? The radio let it play. The radio was like, you're allowed to say these things. This Negro's not. And a lot of times it's gender specific. Because some things fit this so-called pseudo-feminist agenda. Some things just have alpha male, and then they didn't know what to call it back then. Now they call it toxic masculinity. Back then it was just being a real, right? So Aaliyah could say, feel like I'm on dope. Never bleeped it. I don't know because she had a midriff. I don't know what it was. But I was like, last I checked, when Young Jeezy said it, they bleeped him out. Young Jeezy couldn't even say snowman. Precipitation. Young Jeezy couldn't even say the word snow because they said, we know what you mean when you say it, but Aaliyah could say dope. I said, they've been doing this divide and conquer for a long time. I call it selective censorship. Back to B. In contrast to the images and devastation representing post-Katrina, Beyonce participates in this age-old history of inspiration from seeing beyond the circumstances and even beyond life itself. Remember, she did the whole baptism type thing. She leaned back on the top of the cop car and she goes under the water. Like this whole thing about no matter what you're going through, seeing beyond your situation. A lot of people talk like this. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure you log on. Text Queens to 31996. Make sure you stay up in the mix. It's your boy, the Rapping Professor. You can Google me. Aaron Smith. We doing it big tonight. We talking about bashing activists while we embracing and loving and supporting these agents. And that's why William O'Neill was able to set up Fred Hampton and come back around and try to do the same thing to the Panther 21. Because people weren't dedicated to rooting out the weak links in the agents. People were dedicated to the rhetoric. They were dedicated to a civil unrest. As much as you need a minister of information, you need a counterintelligence unit. You need people to vet the people that are in the group. And if you call somebody your right-hand man, that means like, you know, both hands last I checked was attached to your body. So if you're my right-hand man, we like one and the same. Like it ain't no you go home and go to the office and report. You shouldn't even have time to do that. And if it's that deep, I should have somebody following you. It's like, yeah, somebody, man, let me stop. Like anybody, I like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. He's allowed me to look over the mountaintop, and I've seen the promised land. Like when he was talking like this, I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight. Like he said, I'm not fearing any man. He basing his voice down. He's like growling. I said, oh, DMX ain't got nothing on Dr. King. But this whole idea of no matter what I'm going through, or even this earthly plane, I'm seeing beyond this. I'm looking at struggle as a protracted struggle and generational progress, just like generational wealth. If I'm thinking about my grandchildren's grandchildren, every day I spend $1, make $1, or save $1, I'm going to live completely differently. I'm living for 150 years in the future. Certain things I'm just never going to indulge in and never going to buy. Certain things I'm just never even going to consider doing. Just like if you're concerned with living to the point you can't even take a chance, then there's certain impacts you'll never have the possibility or capability to ever have on this planet. Some people worry about how they're going to be received. Other people worry about or are concerned about how they will be remembered. And those people act differently. I don't care how many people. Shout out to DeAndre and Sig. Did I say it right? Signy Farmer, Stacy. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. But if you care about what somebody's saying, how you're gonna be received in the moment, you can't even really focus on longevity. I can't think of somebody that I look up to that was liked while they was doing it. I don't know. Anybody you name that's the most popular is not usually the most lasting. They're virtually mutually exclusive identities. I'm just thinking in terms of hip hop. The MC Hammer of the day will never be the Tupac of tomorrow. I think Tupac's first album was struggling to go gold until he did the movie Juice, when and that's when it really took off. A lot of people wasn't checking for Pac that first album, Tupacalypse Now. No, they had no idea. They like Brenda Got Baby. Okay, that was cute. No. Mobb Deep's The Infamous, same thing. Nas Illmatic, same thing. Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. He's like, you Prophecy on our first joint. Y'all all lamed out. So people act like they was on it during that time. No, later on, when it's all over, half the time when people die, then they all catch on. The Nipsey Hussle effect, I call it harmless remembrance. They did it with Bob Marley. They'll do it with Wu-Tang. And I guarantee you, they'll probably do it with young Minister Louis Farrakhan. He came out with Spike Lee. Now, in the 60s, they wouldn't be caught dead with a Malcolm X name in their mouth. But in the 90s, you might catch him out with an X hat on out the swap meet. Harmless remembrance. Everybody's down for the ride. But you got to know that. You got to know that most people are suckers. Most people ain't built to ride the wave when the wave is the highest, but they'll, Photoshop themselves into the picture 50 years later, talking about, yeah, I marched with Dr. King, elect me for president, but let me not. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure you listen live and live. Go and text Queens to 31996. Stay in the mix. Like, subscribe, or share. FlyNubianBusiness.com to get your business right. FlyNubianMoney.com to get that bag right. And then when you get your shopping popping, ShopFNQ.com. Y'all know how we do. It's on this idea of seeing past your circumstances. You got to look beyond your own existence, and in order to make a maximum contribution to your people. When I'm dead, the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey said, wrap me in the mantle of the red, the black, and the green around me. For the new life, I shall rise with God's grace and the blessings to lead the millions up from the heights and triumph with the colors you well know. Look for, that's what Tupac said, right? When on Me and My Girlfriend, he got that from Marcus Garvey when Tupac was like, look for me, lost in the whirlwind, right? So Marcus Garvey says, look for me in the whirlwind. See, somebody never even make that connection. I help somebody tonight, right? There ain't no Pac was inspired in quoting Garvey, but that's what we do, rapping professor. Look for me in the whirlwind or the storm. Look for me all around you. For with God's grace, I shall come and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in the Americas and the West Indies and the millions in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life, right? Garvey wasn't playing no games. He said, he said, in life, what he say? He said, in death, I'll be a terror. He never come back. Right? He said, don't pray for your enemies. He said, pray for justice. Rain, sleet, hail, snow, and earthquakes. And some would say wildfires. FlyNubianQueen.com. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think it was Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton, the chairman. Let me Chairman Fred Hampton. Chairman Fred Hampton said, you can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail a revolution. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting, right? You got to move like that. That's the thing. If like 5% of the population moved that way, it would be over. Shout out to 1804. It ain't like every single Haitian was ready. Critical mass. Stop saying we all need to get together. We don't all need to do nothing. Half of these sheeple go with the flow. Masses of suckers gonna do whatever the real ones say. We run this block. They just follow suit once we establish the codes and the rules. And they hide inside and play their part. Whether you run in the tier or run in the corner, you know what it is. They sit on one spot on Pennsylvania Avenue and tell every darn state what to do. On Pennsylvania Avenue, telling states what to do. They got like 5 buildings out that joint. And they telling hundreds of millions of people what they can and can't do. And they talking about states' rights. They say, your state better shut up. Right? Your state ain't right. It's just boss talk. You just believe it's us. At one point, it was Philadelphia was the capital. You know how you become the capital? You say, I'm the capital. Right? Because the Iroquois nation was like, wait, but we were actually, man, shut up. Get on that damn reservation. What'd I say? What'd I tell you? You want to have a repeat of what we did last time? You want another Trail of Tears? And people, oh, no. Like Debo, when he going, I'll be talking again. I might play my drum later on, maybe the Dakota Pipeline, 100 years later. No. Somebody stand up and say, this is me right here. This is how I'm doing it. And the last thing that the enemies want, the last thing a colonizer and an imperialist and an oppressor wants is for somebody to take notes from the way they move. And that's why Malcolm was so dangerous and his rhetoric was so deadly. And he said, everything I've learned from watching you. That's what Malcolm told him all the time. I learned from watching everything we learned about liberty, right? He always quoted Patrick Henry, right? Give me liberty and give me death, right? He would always say, I learned from y'all how to get things done. Preaching the price of freedom is death. He would say, he was a dead man already. Anybody worry about you. The same way you came and took everything, somebody can take it from you. That's why you live the way you do and you're always afraid. Because anybody ever did some real dirt, you got to, what did Tupac say? He said, oh, you got to think about the payback. Some punk that I roughed up way back, coming back after all these years, rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. That's the way it is. That's just the way it is, right? Like, because you always head on a swivel. You done did too much dirt. Now you get no peace for the rest of your life. Because if somebody did it to you, they'd be on for life with no rap on sight. I don't care if you saved, took your shahada, I see you tomorrow, pop, meet the father. Nobody ain't worried about the fact that you got your life together. If you done took somebody else's life and their family, they ain't worried about how you atone for your sins and all. No, you go ahead and finish atoning in person. You up out here, right? My goodness gracious. So you got Beyonce following in this beautiful tradition of the ancestors, saying things like, that's the thing too. Who cares about the negative that people say? I call it beneficial extraction. I'm here to take the best of what you can offer the same way everybody else does. The movie called The Seven Deadly Venoms for all my martial artists. He took the best from every strategy and created the ultimate strategy. Pac was saying we need the camaraderie of the police department. We need the so-and-so of the military. We need so-and-so. Like Pac said listen to Pac's last interview toward the end when he talks about doing the same type of thing. We're going to take the best. So you telling me you can't extract nothing from arguably the greatest entertainer of our generation and arguably one of the greatest fiscal-minded entertainers in the history of black music? Don't make me go to Whitney in the Tub or Lady Sings the Blues on Smack. Don't make me have to show you Ray or talk about Ike and Tina, right? Now Yam Rain Gay, no, she dating them white billionaires and they say Black Lives Matter in the past. No. Tina Turner ain't even say black and proud. She darn sure ain't gonna say Black Lives Matter. She know where she at. She done been so traumatized by Ike. I think the sight of a black man, I think if she smells Afro Sheen right now, she might shed a tear, start crying, and get triggered. She don't want nothing to do with blackness. I don't know if I can blame her. If one person can make you hate Ike, I know, let me stop. But hey, might get Tina a pass. She's been through a lot. But the point I'm making is, what other entertainers do you know that even kept their money? Like, we got an opportunity here. We need to have specific conversations. Because if we was on the block and there was somebody showing promise, winning a couple fights, I talked before about here in Philadelphia, something called the Junior Black Mafia, and the slogan that said would be "Get down or lay down." We would make sure we approach them. Sometimes people be on college campuses, and some of the fraternities and sororities will take notice to prominent people who have a lot of promise, and they'll invite them to an information. Like, come on and see what we about. Because we already see you. We see what you about. You might be a good, just fall through. Let's chop it up, right? Now, meanwhile, we got somebody that's a billionaire that's interested in bailing out protesters. The conscious community is so busy fixated with the imagery and the negative aspects that they can't even recognize this sister is right here. We just got to pull her over a little bit more. She'll be like Miriam Makeba. All we got to do is, right? She here. We bring her here. Solange already pulling. What? Solange already pulling. Solange like, I don't know why you be smiling on them interviews. You got enough money. You don't smile at nobody. If it ain't funny, don't laugh. That's what she said in her lyrics. Right? Her sister be helping her keep it real, right? Listen to some of these quotes. When I leave this world, I leave with no regrets. It's powerful. I use the negativity. This is a lesson for a lot of people who could never reach the heights of success that Beyonce and others have reached because they can't do stuff like this quote right here illustrates. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Text Queens at 31996. Stay in the mix. Like, subscribe, and share. It's your boy, the rapping professor, Aaron Smith. You want to get your money right? FlyNubianMoney.com. For real though, subscribe. Stop playing. If you want to get your bag right, or you can donate. If you want to get your bag right, FlyNubianMoney.com. Want to get your business right? FlyNubianBusiness.com. If you want to get your shopping popping, shop FNQ. Y'all know how we do. Beyonce says, I use negativity to fuel a transformation into a better me. So every time you troll, every time you type something nasty, every time you approach her mom wrong when they was driving away in that truck, every time you want to talk about her family, what her dad doing, who he date, every time you want to say something slick, she says, I use the negativity. This is deep. It's like intellectual Aikido. You know, Aikido, they'll run at you and then you just turn your hip at the end and you use all their momentum to slide them on their back and crack their hip. It's the momentum that they generated that ends up cracking their bones. All you did was twist them at the end. So you ain't got to use a lot of energy. You use a little bit of energy, but it's a technique. And they can run up on you, bye-bye, right? Hip, crack, right? So that's what Beyonce does. You dedicate all your energy to hating on me and all she does is write a hit, right? Well, I don't know if she writes too much. All she do is be that much better. I think 50 Cent does it well. A lot of people are able to take negative energy and be like a centrifuge and extract the negative and then be like a transformer and change it, convert it, right? A psychosocial converter, right? A psycho-spiritual converter. You put in negative into my life and my space, and I can extract it and then convert it into positive beneficial energy, meaning I took your energy, you don't have it to use anymore, and I'm using it for positive means. So if I get 1 million people to give me their negative energy and I convert it, now they are without energy, and I have now converted their energy for my personal use. I become Beyonce, and you remain a troll and a loser that doesn't create anything. Song called The Do-Up by LL Cool J. He said, an old man, when people ask what you did with your life, you say, I hated LL and I carried a big knife. All you did was hate and be bitter all your life. All you did was troll and stay in the comment section of other people's video. You ain't never produced. I said it before. I said, you make comments. I make content. Being online is all we got in common. But there's a difference between crossing and dropping. And there's a difference between peeping and popping. Watch it. All eyes, yeah, I see them on me every time that I'm speaking. Hate is part of the game. Please believe it. They hated on Martin, Malcolm, and Jesus. Peep it. Oedipus with his moms stabbed his own eye out and murked his pops. Now, if I talk about that, I get props. But when I talk Tupac, they like, stop. So hip-hop class should be done away, but they ain't got no problem with Columbus Day. Ooh, you surprised? I'm surprised too. Man, it's harboring truth when the whole world been lied to. Ew, bars. But stop. FlyNubianQueen.com. FlyNubianKingTV.com. It's Aaron Smith. Text Queens 31996. Stay in the mix. Like, subscribe, and share. Oh, yeah. She says, I was here. I just want them to know that I gave my all, did my best, brought some happiness, left the world a little better just because I was here. That's not about income. That's not. I'm here trying to embrace my purpose. I'm here trying to leave a mark on the world, an indelible mark on history, to make sure that people will say my name. Because if you study ancestral veneration, it's important for the people to say your name. If people stop saying your name, then there's something that happens to the connection. Some of y'all might have saw the movie Us. There's something that happens to the connection, and you lose that tethering to that ancestral realm when you don't remember anybody, when they don't remember you. And they say one of the worst things you could do is be an ancestor and no one's saying your name. Don't they do that on the street? They pour out a little bit. They do libations, right? They pour like how is that possible? How is it possible to erase somebody's entire memory? To not even let them know the language they spoke, the spiritual system they had, not let them know how they dressed, how they related to their women, not let them know where they came from, literally erase somebody's memory, but then you enslave them for 250 years, you castrate them, you lynch them, you put convict leasing and redlining and Jim Crow, Homestead Act, segregation, sundown towns, mass incarceration, crack cocaine, and they still keeping the same rituals that they had 1,000 years ago on the continent, talking about pour some out. For ancestors, talking to them, saying their name, tapping bottles. How does this occur? How does this occur? If there's not power in it, if there's not a connection there, you should be bending down on your knees in front of some white man putting crackers under your tongue when you're not getting molested up in some Vatican church. Oh, some of y'all do that. I'm sorry, but for the rest of us, you got to ask yourself, where did it come from? Nobody came over here later and was like, yo, we need to do this. Just like the movements, how you get a young child to create a dance on a street corner in Philadelphia that looks almost identical to something that's been happening in Ghana for the past 20,000 years. Redoing sacred dances, just generational, memory, generational cultural retention, they call it, right? So people are saying there's power in that retention, and there's certain things people don't want you to remember. Because if you ever remember who you really are, it'll be like Planet of the Apes. The first one, Charlton Heston, they said there's the only good human is a dead human. They said the humans didn't create anything. They said there's the 8th planet. We did all the civilization. We control the guns and the jails and the image of God. We even leave the human stuffed in museums like they did Sarah Bartman, right? We control everything. It's not your planet. Then later on, the boy saw the capsized Statue of Liberty. He said the whole time, like I said with Michael Jackson analysis, right? This is our planet. You're one of us. You come from us. This is our planet. What you talking about, Willis? But if the average black person say, wait a minute, I was here first. Every single people on the planet come from us. Do you know how instantaneously the way we walk and the way we talk and the way we view history and the way we discuss everything from science, art to mathematics, knowing that up to 8,000 years ago, some certain people weren't even on the planet. 70,000 years ago, that they didn't exist. There was no such genetic mutation or grafting process even to take place. The whole world was black people. 2/3 of human history occurred on the continent of Africa. And when people left Africa with their black faces, when they got to where they got, they had the same darn face when they arrived there. That means every place got a black African origin. They said the first Americans were African, David Imhotep II, to the Negritos in Asia, to the Dalits in India, to the Aborigines in Australia. Like, come on, stop playing. But you got people saying that college ain't for me and math ain't for me, and they gave the world all of that. The first university in the world was why I said they call a course block on a pyramid. We say courses here at the college now. They call the last course a capstone course. Ain't no capstones in Greece. This is African stuff that they hide from you in your face, hide in plain sight the fact they stole everything from you. They told you all about Thales, Socrates, and Plato, and never tell you they studied at the feet of African masters for sometimes up to 10 to 15 years. This is a game. And if you can't peep game, and I don't even say peep game, you got to be able to peep game and play the game. Some of us peep the game, but we don't have the wherewithal to sit by the door. We don't have the discipline. We'll watch the Boondocks animated series, but we won't know that the name of the lead character in the Boondocks, Huey Freeman, comes directly from Sam Greeley's book, The Spook That Sat by the Door. Later became a movie that they wanted to ban and destroy. And some people say it was required reading in Quantico, Virginia for new FBI agents. So while we sit there watching the Boondocks, not knowing what Aaron McGruder is trying to say to us when he names his lead character Huey Freeman, he's in an interview. They said, why did you go into animation? Aaron McGruder said, because you can't kill a cartoon. Playing games. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Listen live anytime and log on. If you don't have the texting thing down pat, you text Queens to 31996 so you stay in the mix. Like, subscribe, and share. We're talking about embracing these activists. We got to switch it up. And then bashing these agents. We're going to flip it because too many people embracing agents and seemingly known agents. If you're not going to do no Harvey Weinstein documentary and after the show, and you're going to hug up on Harvey like you for sale. Did you see that picture? If I got to bring up that picture, I'm not even going to do it. You know the one I'm talking about, where she literally like on his shoulder. Not the one she's kissing on. Not the one Oprah's kissing on Harvey Weinstein. I'm talking about when she's on his shoulder. Like, you know, like with the whole concubine thing, looked like one of them ancient Arabian joints with the Moors when he had all the Spanish white joints and all that in Spain, you know, all the, you know, just laying around with their shirts off, you know, and the Moor be all with the gold dripping like Mansa Musa, like, yeah, this all me right here. That's how Harvey looking. Harvey looking like, yeah, if I really wanted to, you know what it is, right? So if you're not gonna be consistent and you're gonna try to talk about you for the victims, embrace your past but live for now. You got to be able to play the game. This is Beyonce. Embrace your past, but live for now. A lot of people embrace their past, but they stuck in it. Woo! They talk about classical Africa. I said, I love hearing about classical Africa, but I'm also living in classical now. You know, I'm going to pay some classical bills. I got to learn to grow some classical food for the classical family I have. No classical Africa to the point, I say it all the time, you out on 125th Street every day, and then I'll never see your children with you. Right? The only day I don't see you is the day you're in family court for not being a good father. But you know all the moon stars and quasars, boys in the hood, 6 trillion tons weight of the earth, and all this. No, don't do that. Don't be so classical that you classical crazy. You're classical crazy. You so classical. Oh my God, you a classic crazy lunatic, man. Out here talking about all these books like you can eat them. You out there, you quoting books like they feeding people. No. Now if you read them right, maybe no. I slay. I'm gonna slay these bills. I'm gonna slay these credentials. Because I learned at one point it's not just about peeping the game. You got to learn to play it. A lot of people got all the theory in the world, but there's a difference between theorizing and applied theory. Shout out to all my social scientists, all my STEM and STEAM people out there. Big difference between theory and applied theory. Because sometimes when you try to apply your theory and test your theory, you see your theory is a bunch of BS. That's why it's just a theory and it's not a fact, because it hasn't been tested, it hasn't been proven. So we need to move beyond theory and go into the realm of knowing. And you know when your theory is tested and your theory becomes a fact or an actionable, type of theoretical concept that can be proven and operationalized for the benefit and liberation of African people. Otherwise, you're just talking. I'm talking in an office. I'm talking prepared to go on the air tomorrow at 7 o'clock after I wake up at 5 o'clock. WURDradio.com here in Philadelphia, one of the only 3 independent Black radio stations left in these United States. I'm here right now on Fly Nubian Queen and FlyNubianKingTV.com. I'm talking, but I'm doing more than I'm talking. I ain't never gonna let my talking outdo what I'm doing. We don't play that game. There's a certain equation we got to operate on. If I'm not doing more than I'm talking, I'm going to shut up a little bit. I'm going to have to ask boys to let me go twice a week, 3 times a week. I'm going to say, brother, I'm out here doing so much talking, I ain't doing nothing. So as much as you see me talking, you best believe that there's always going to be more doing than talking going on over here. And we plotting the whole way. We plotting generations in advance. We plotting 10, 20 years in advance. We got plans. We making moves. We're not sitting here just trying to memorize books like some weird Rain Man to get views and clickbait and try. No. Beyonce Formation, entertainer, activist of both, the New York Times was asking. See, the New York Times is asking relevant questions that the conscious community should be asking. The conscious community should be looking like, hey, y'all see what Beyonce doing lately? She look like she moving over toward us a little bit. Yeah, I know she still got the weave, but some of them lyrics, some of that imagery, looking like, Oshun and all that, and talking about liking her nose. And I haven't heard lyrics that empowering since James Brown. With regards to liking your Black self, India Arie with brown skin. D'Angelo had brown sugar, but I don't know if he was really talking so much about the melanin. But yeah, and then you got James Brown. I say India Arie, James Brown, and Beyonce, bar for bar, got like 2 of the hardest lines. Like, oh, what's the other one? What's the sister name? Neo Soul. Remember, Black brother, strong brother. And she from Philly too. I don't even know. Angie B. Remember she was Angie B when she was rapping and all that? Yeah, so that's what I thought of. I thought of 4 songs that had that kind of impact. That was that pro-Black in terms of loving your aesthetic self. And there's a song by the Jungle Brothers called Black Woman. That was a powerful. Angie Stone. She was Angie B when she was a rapper, though. And some of y'all might not know that. Angie Stone used to be Angie B, the rapper. So she reinvented herself real nice on that Neo Soul tip. Y'all go ahead and Google Angie B, Angie Stone, and you can see the old school stuff when she was spitting bars. So you say, yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you straight, no chaser. But the point I'm making is, Jungle Brothers, Black woman, mother of this earth, Black woman, you gave me birth. You helped me be the best that I can be, giving me so much. How can I ask for more? Keeping us tight when we're getting loose. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Black woman, right? Jungle Brothers, shout out. You can Google that at your leisure. And also, of course, Tupac, keep your head up. We saw the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I say the darker the flesh and the deeper roots, right? So I've been just liking the Blackness, right? I'm still could count it on probably one hand and a finger. So the fact that she's saying in a time where this surgery is more rampant than ever, you got people cutting and getting all kind of shots and Botox and bleaching, and she's saying, I like my skin and I like my nose. Man, little girl need to hear that. She got Blue walking around with the free locks in the fro, right? Looking like a Marley out here. Looking like when Lauryn Hill was in with the Marley Squad, right? Flowing free. Hair free, right? My gosh. Oh, am I Black enough for you? Yeah, baby Paul. Yeah. And what's one Miles Davis had? What's the one? Miles Davis had one. And what's the other brother? What's the brother did the soundtrack? Oh my gosh, his name's escaping me. High Pitch, right? Dead President soundtrack. They brought him back for Dead President soundtrack. What's the man's name? Sings in the falsetto. Real cool. Song on the Dead President soundtrack. Y'all gonna give it to me. But I know Miles Davis had the kind of blue joint and all that. But there was another one. Y'all gonna give me that name. He got the dark glasses. He got the deep voice. Oh, man. What's his name? Y'all better give it to me. Dead President soundtrack. If y'all don't get it, I'll be mad at y'all. Let me get it first. No, let me get it first. Oh, my God. If I get it first, I'm going to be like y'all sleeping. Because some of y'all older than me. It shouldn't even be like that. Soundtrack. Let me see. What's the lead song? I can't find it. I shop it in movie. Dead President movie motion picture. I'm gonna find it. Isaac Isaac Hayes, you got it first. Oh, you got it first. Chalky White. Oh no, who got it first? Who got it first? Who got it? Dark Hose in one. Dark Hose in one. I was a click away. I was a click away. I'm about to talk that talk. Yes, Isaac Hayes. So there's some people, right? A few, right? But like so we got Beyonce following in some powerful footsteps, talking about loving herself. That's not something you hear every day, unfortunately, in our music. And when we see that, I'm talking strategy now. I was watching a video a while back. Actually, it's two similar videos I've seen. I watched one where a brother was representing the LGBTQIA community, and they were having like a huddle, and they were talking about changing the language. They were talking about how to engage and push back on people when they said things that they didn't like. He was teaching the crowd, when you hear them say he, she, then you go into the pronoun conversation. When you hear them say gay, and you let them know that he was teaching them how we need to talk to people so we could frame the conversation. We want the language to be heard. And I heard that there's a video of a Jewish brother doing the same thing. He's talking about how to frame the conversation and the narrative. When they start criticizing Israel, we're going to say this. When they start asking about the Talmud and protocols of Zion, we're going to say this. When they ask us about our customs and how we call ourselves a chosen people and is that discriminatory, we're going to say this. He was teaching the people how we're going to deal with one another and how we're going to deal with outsiders, right? We need to do that. We need to say, hey, there's a sister that might be able to get, and when people try to come at the sister, then we need to do that. And we need to let the sister know that there's a way to communicate to people to increase your numbers and your strength and to be strategic about recruitment and accessing the resources. And come on now. The cults do it all the time. Look at Scientology. They'll find a celebrity. They'll be like, oh, you made $100 million? You join up with us. We just made $50 million. Shouts out to you, John Travolta. They don't have to make the 50 million. They just got to recruit John Travolta. That's like the consistory. That's like a shortcut, right? You go out and work for 30 to 40 years. You make 100 million. All I got to do is convince you to rock with me and convert you. And now I made 50 million. I made half of what took you 40 years to generate simply by talking that talk. So if we're able to talk that talk, the same way Jehovah's Witnesses go out and knock door to door, same way the gangsters go out and say, get down and lay down, the same way the people selling dope be like, the first one's free, it's on me. Everybody else got a marketing plan and a strategy to recruit and gain power and resources. We're sitting here bashing people and canceling people that could be our salvation. The cooperation of people with ample resources in proper connection with people with adequate consciousness can cause a revolution and create the critical mass we need to totally shift the paradigm in the direction of the liberation of African people worldwide. But we playing games with petty divisions. I can't work with no rapper. Well, you stupid. I thought Malcolm said by any means, but if he spit a hot 16, then he can't be on your team, right? Oh my gosh, let me get started. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. You listening live? Maybe you just logged on. If you late, you still straight. It's all good. We good. It's like text Queens to 319-968 in the mix. Like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you do that there. So we're talking about we flipping it now. We're talking about embracing our activists and redefining what that means. Because y'all was telling me that it was DeRay McKesson was an activist till he ran for office and wrote a book. I should walk it off. I mean, no offense, but he ain't been marching like he used to. I ain't seen him since the campaign started, right? Ain't no part-time activism. Yeah, I thought your Malcolm said by any means. That means if you gotta go platinum to bail people out, then go platinum and bail them out. If you gotta sit by the door and pretend like Booker T, if it's gonna mean you start institutions and fund radical organizations like Booker T did, then go ahead and laugh at them darky jokes. Just let us know, though. Booker T, he ain't let us know. He had us thinking that he was just totally out. Like, we had to find an app, but maybe that's the best way. Because they didn't Nipsey Hussle Booker T. They didn't have enough of a file on Booker T to stop what he was doing when he was alive. There's some lessons we might need to take from Booker T, because Booker T fooled. Maybe that's what Omarosa. Okay. Some of y'all can't get the assistance if it's in a Republican package. Some of y'all can't do beneficial extraction if it's in a rapper package. Some of y'all can't do beneficial extraction if the sister got a weave or a perm. Some of y'all can't do beneficial extraction if the brother got a couple girlfriends. Some of y'all can't do beneficial extraction if somebody smell like weed. Some of y'all can't do beneficial extraction if somebody don't smell like weed. If they don't roll up and smoke, you act like so they got the plague of leprosy. Oh, you don't smoke? No, I want my lungs. But yeah, you got to be able to do it by any means necessary. I don't care if your accent is so heavy I can hardly understand you. I don't care if you argue all day about who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas, or who got the best Jollof rice. Wherever you are, if you facing the same oppressor and enemy, we got to link up. You ever meet somebody and y'all be like, we gotta link up. We gotta, you do a business, they do a business. You got, we need to talk. Can we get a rap? As Martin Lawrence said. He said, okay, shit, y'all hate us corny with that Illuminati mess. Now, if you study the history of COINTELPRO, and how they talked about discrediting and having campaigns of disinformation, there was a point in time where like half the videos about Jay-Z said something about the Illuminati and vice versa with Beyonce. It seemed like out of nowhere, a significant, consistent campaign to attach these people with things that were distracting and not empowering and not honest. And I was like, who of videos about the Illuminati? How is this even taking place? Now, I know at a certain point, you could just place the germs and let the seeds grow, and exponentially other people will start becoming unwilling agents because they'll take a rumor like a game of telephone and they'll pass it around. But initially, you had to really, like when you get a crop, you can't just plant 1 or 2 seeds because, some of them seeds ain't going to grow. So you got to really make sure you get that germination right. And you got to make sure every seed got its own space. You got to dig and you got to water evenly. And you still might get a 40% yield on your crop in terms of reaping what you sow. So if they're going to like what they call carpet bombing in the military, you got to carpet bomb social media with this whole notion Jay-Z, Beyonce, Illuminati to the point it infects everybody. To the point kids go home and start making their own videos saying, yeah, because one day she wore a red dress. And you know what that means, right? If you don't think an idea like, and not even that, it comes out of nowhere, but it leaves just like that. Once she said that line in her song and the whole strategy of this whole Illuminati, it's almost like that psyop was, somebody just said at the same time, we on the same page, girl. We on the same page. While you was typing psyop, I was saying psyop. We there. That's why I like this room. So I know we in Queens. So I know we KTV. So we not falling for it. But it just came out of nowhere and then it just stopped, right? One day it was like 100 videos made in 1 week. And then now nobody's even saying it, making videos about it. I'm like, what happened? She not in the Illuminati no more? They took her card. She got caught, so she got exposed, so she's not a member. Like, what just happened? What did we just experience where all of a sudden why were they targeted? Why was this strategy employed? What were they testing? What were they trying to figure out? What kind of analytics were they gathering were they trying to see if they could impact possibly something bigger like an election? I don't know. I'm just thinking like a chess player. But y'all hate is corny with that Illuminati mess. He said, you mix that Negro with that Creole, make a Texas Bama. You got to understand, when you look at the history of DR and Haiti, and you look at how people in the Hutu and the Tutsi in Rwanda with the massacre, how people will allow petty artificial separations and divisions and boundaries, like the whole visa program in Africa. That's why we try to do United States of Africa, so people to go throughout the continent without having to have checkpoints that some other imperialist colonizer imposed on them at the Berlin Conference, and we still operate according to those lines on the continent. That's ridiculous. I should be able to go anywhere in Africa and do what I got to do, right? Like, come on now, let's get it together. But when she's saying you mix the Negro with the Creole, if you know the history of Creole people, a lot of them light-skinned Creole people want nothing to do with being called Negro at all. They don't even want to claim the mix. They want to claim the Creole part. That's like people walk around saying, I'm mixed. They talk about the mix with the white part. They're not talking about mixed with the black. Nobody walks around saying, I'm mixed with Haitian and Ghanaian. Right? When people say I'm mixed, there's a certain, messaging towards that, certain direction that, there's certain affinity for, yeah. You get it, right? So when she says I'm mixing the Negro with the Creole and making a Texas Bama, see, a lot of times there's a conflict between people who know their history outside of the States and people who consider themselves African American. So any connections, anything going in the direction of breaking down these compartmentalized identities is moving in the direction of liberation. You Hutu, you Tutsi, y'all the same. The Dutch and the Portuguese and all of them, they came and drew a line down the middle of y'all nation. years ago, told y'all was at odds, and then fed y'all misinformation about one another and exploited the petty differences to the point they're on the radio calling each other cockroaches, assassinating the character of a people so you can make room to assassinate the actual people. But if you don't know the steps, when you start hearing things like East Coast, West Coast war, before an East Coast, West Coast war ever existed, and you don't know that the same terminology was used between the US organization and the Black Panther Party when Bunchy Carter was assassinated, then you say, wow, this is an interesting article in this newspaper. Wasn't nobody on a beeper, was it even two-way pages then? No, nobody on a beeper trying to spell East Coast, West Coast back in 1995 and 6. Vibe magazine was the first place most people saw that. So when you know that the FBI and the CIA have heavily and thoroughly infiltrated all aspects of media, and they have done it since the 60s and the 70s, you say, who would sit up in a room and declare war between people who have very little governance and are known to react violently when conflicts arise? That just seems insane. That's like saying D block versus B block. I put out the prison newspaper. You're asking for a riot. And you know it. You know how these people settle their differences. Why are you going to promote difference? To sell magazines? Even that in and of itself seems like it couldn't be a sufficient answer. There's a lot of ways to make money. Freedom of Information Act is going to be really good on that one, because I can't see these executives that have these ties sometimes to military and government. A lot of these heads of these companies, right? A lot of these heads of these media outlets oftentimes have a lot of connections to other upper echelon people of positions of power and influence. And they know the plans. So I don't know why somebody would pay attention to Biggie Smalls in particular. These Tupac have been around. He was a Shakur. He was connected to Mutulu Shakur. He was connected to Assata Shakur. There's a lot of reasons for him to have a big dossier. But it almost seemed like Biggie was used as a tool just to stop the Shakur legacy at that point, because I liked Party and BS and I enjoyed Juicy, but I don't think he was the biggest FBI threat at the time. Even though after the East Coast, West Coast thing, he talked about, he tapped his cell and his phone in the basement. Oh my gosh. FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubianKingTV.com. Make sure you listen live. Make sure that you log on. It's the rapping Professor Aaron Smith giving up the game. Take it as saying names. Okay, so just a little background. There's something called The Mulatto in the United States. It's an interesting pamphlet by Edward Byron Reuter, R-E-U-T-E-R. It's called The Mulatto in the United States. Explanations. It's a study of the mix a study of mixed blood. Wow. Richard G. Badger, Boston. Richard G. Badger. And this is by Edward Byron Reuter. The Mulatto in the United States. And there's another article I got up that says, white man is to marry quadroon. Ms. Andrew Adams says that she would rather see her son dead, her home broken up, and she will leave the city. That's what the mom said when she heard that the white man is going to marry a quadroon, right? My gosh. Grades of color in early 19th century Jamaica. If we did the DR, it would take all night, right? Negro, white, Negro, mulatto, white, Negro Sambo, Negro quadroon white, musty, M-U-S-T-E-E. That's a new one to me. That's the first time I saw that one. White, musty fino, M-U-S-T. Some of y'all from Jamaica, y'all might have heard these things. M-U-S-T-E-E-P-H-I-N-O, and then white and white. Like all these. So when she starts combining these identities and say you mix them, and then she connects them to this Texas identity. Anytime anybody links an African American identity to anything Caribbean or African, they are empowering African people, as opposed to I'm from North Philly. I'm a blood. I'm taking you further away from a landmass, a flag, a language, and a long-standing history and cultural identity. And there's FBI documents that talk about removing and separating the African American at all costs from knowledge or cooperation with Africa. You have to go no further than studying the trial of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, when he had this so-called suspected FBI informant have one piece of mail. Talk about they brought him up on mail fraud with this one piece of mail. Talk about the Black Star Line. There was one boat that they said when somebody paid something on this boat, and the boat wasn't there yet. It hadn't been created. Some nonsense using a piece of mail to indict a man. So we already know how they'll slide somebody in there and play these games. Bashing activists while we embracing agents. So let's redefine what an activist is. Let's work more diligently to expose agents, especially when they're behaving as such. When somebody's behaving like they're acting outside of the interest of our people, it doesn't matter how nice their song is. It doesn't matter. Like I saw a Women's History Month thing with Condoleezza Rice on it, and I was like, why? She had an oil tanker named after her, and she called Bush her husband a couple of times by accident, and that's all I know she did. I don't remember nothing. I don't remember, like, Omarosa came in there the first week, them HBCUs got some money. I know y'all don't like Omarosa, but that don't change the fact that she did something that Obama and Clinton didn't do put together when it comes to legislation for African people specifically. Sorry, can't change the facts for you. Your feelings. But yeah, so Condoleezza Rice was there for years and years. She ain't do none of that. So just you being first ain't enough. You could be first because you're the first one given. That's like you being the first one somebody dates. They might have heard about you. That don't mean that. I'm Aaron Smith, FlyNubianQueen.com, FlyNubian King TV. Make sure you log on. Oh, they used to call you Jawbone. Remember in the movie? You said, I now remember you. I'm Aaron Smith, and shouts out to Boyce Watkins. Shouts out to Malepe Kente Asante, right? Jamaica, don't really respect Marcus Garvey, right? Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Love John. Going to the ground, big things are going to see it. Can you tell me more about the Tulsa riots on another video? Not tonight, because my time is up. No, but it's all good. I'm actually teaching a class at Temple University called Black Wealth. I'm using the 3 pillars that I'm going to utilize is this book called Black Fortunes. If you heard about the book, James Smalls and all the people, Black Fortunes, one of the books. I'm also using Build Brother Build, Leon Sullivan, right? If you're familiar with Reverend Leon Sullivan and what he did at the Sullivan Progress Plaza and Pan-Africanism and how he got his church, to get engaged with cooperative economics to the degree where he had a citywide and national, international impact on religious institutions, engage in activism, and also Black Wall Street and Tulsa, Oklahoma. Those are the 3 primary things that I'm going to be utilizing for this class. And I think I'm going to have about 100 people in that class talking about Black wealth. So maybe I'll share some of the lectures from that class coming up in the fall with some of the listeners on FlyNubianQueen.com and FlyNubian King TV. Holla at your boy.